You're listening to the Fire and Thunder Sports Podcast. Be sure to tune in live every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on 9.3 FM WMSC. So what's going on, my friends? Welcome to the Summer 2019 Week 1 edition of Fire and Thunder Sports, hosted by yours truly, Adam Gase on 9.3 WMSC up in Montclair, New Jersey, on 9.3 on your FM dial if you live in the upper Montclair area, streaming live on WMSCRadio.com and on iHeartRadio platforms. If you want to join the conversation, feel free to do so. 1-973-655-4256 is the number to call up. 10:17 is the time right now, and we are with you up until 1 p.m. WMSC, the voice of Montclair State University. And again, I apologize for all those technical difficulties earlier. I mean, I accidentally turned on the wrong mic. I was trying out some new things in the board right here, trying try out some new things, make sure more or convenient to run, and so that way I can expand my horizons with the show and do some more stuff. But apologies for that, guys. I was having a little bit of technical difficulties there. I mean, I was having a little bit of technical difficulties earlier. I mean, I turned on the wrong mic, but enough of that. But how's everyone doing? It's been like a while. I mean, a long time since my last show. I believe my last show is May 3rd? So yeah, it's been like, how many days? 23 days since my last show. Back then, when my show during the spring 2019 semester was called TGIS, Thank Goodness to Sports, I decided to change that name to Fire and Thunder Sports, because I don't know, I like the Fire and Thunder Sports better. It sounds more, explosive. Sounds kind of like more flashy, when you hear Fire and Thunder Sports, it makes you, when you hear that show name, Fire and Thunder Sports, it makes people like, if you hear that name, a show that's called that name, it makes you think, oh wow, this show must be good. Let me give it a try. Let me listen and see what this is all about. And plus I just like, I just like the two elements. I'm a big fan of the fire element and, the thunder element. I like both those, elements. Unless if we want to go into a whole science discussion, I like both those elements. Those two are like my two of my favorite elements. Fire and thunder, electricity, all that kind of stuff. Those two are like my favorite elements. Obviously, if you play RPGs, if you play Kingdom Hearts, if you play Pokemon, if you play Final Fantasy, if you play all that good as like you're obviously familiar with both those elements. I'm a big fan of like using both those elements, fire and thunder in RPGs. So I figured like, why not combine that with fire and thunder with to sports? Obviously this is a sports talk show. This is what I do. So I figured, why not name it after that? Because fire and thunder really suits my personality. Kind of suits it's the two elements I'm a fan of. It's kind of, I always if you check me out on Twitter, when I text people, I always sometimes I'll just follow up with like a thunder emoji and a fire emoji. Like, just fire and thunder just kind of suits me. Like, just those two elements, I feel like it just kind of suits me. I'm just a big fan of those two elements. So I figured, why not name my show after that? So, but that's why. Nothing against the old name TGI, as it kind of suited, because the show was on Friday. So, because my show last semester was on Friday, so I figured why not name it after that. So that was back when I had to change my show name, because the first name I came up for my spring 2019 semester, the first thing I came up for that show, I kind of ran into some copyright issues with that, so I decided to change that, come up with something original. But now I'm changing it again, Fire and Thunder Sports. I'm pretty sure I'm going to stick with this name, with this show name, throughout the entire semester and into next semester. I'm pretty sure I'm going to stick with that. I'm pretty sure I'm going to stick with that. I'm pretty sure I'm going to stick with that show name. And like, I'm 99% sure, I highly doubt I'm gonna be changing my show name again. Like, so don't worry about that. I'm not changing my show name again. So this is it, Fire and Thunder Sports. That's gonna be my show name from the rest of my time here at WMC, which is only like two more semesters. It'll be this semester and then next semester, and then I'm done. So only 2 more semesters to go, guys, of the show. I'm already sad. We're already a third of the way there. I'm kind of sad that we're gonna be done this early. I mean, I could. So again, it's been a long time since my last show. I'll get into all the stuff what's been going on with me like later on in the show. But I may be able to do it for my weekly segment where I don't talk about sports. I have no idea what I'm I have no idea what I'm gonna call it. I'm probably just gonna kill off the segment and just talk about whatever I want. Just talk about whatever I want. If I come up with a name for the segment where I don't talk about sports on the show, like by all means, so be it. But you know what? I'll just make it up. I'll just make it up as I go along. Like I'm gonna talk about whatever I want. Obviously, it's a sports talk show, so I'm gonna focus mainly on sports. 99% of it is gonna be sports, but I might just sprinkle in that 1% other stuff like as you go along here. So I'll get into some stuff what I'm doing over the where I've been, finals, everything that's happened to me since May 3rd. I'll get into that I'll get into that like later on to the show, but right now we're here to talk about sports. So I'm ready. You're ready. Let's dive right in. We got a jam-packed show for you today. My New York Yankees keep on rolling. They're in first place in the American League East. They've won 7 straight games. I believe their record is 30. I believe the record is 35 and 32 and 17. I believe it is. I mean, I'm not sure about that, but that's why I think it is. I can quickly check on that. I mean, we're gonna get into that. Why are they playing so well? Why are they playing so well? What's been keeping them afloat throughout this? They're 34 and 17. Their record is 34 and 17. 3 games ahead of the Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, I'll get into that later. I'll get into all that. And later on in the show, we're not opening that, but I will get into a lot of Yankees. I could especially I said we're going to talk a lot of Yankees on this edition because they got a lot to say about them. The New York Knicks, they get the 3rd pick in the 2019 NBA draft. A lot of Knicks fans dream of getting the first pick, getting Zion Williamson. That's not going to happen. They're going to be getting the 3rd pick. I'll talk about that later. I'll tell you why it's not the end of the world for Knicks fans, but I was originally thinking that's what I'm going to open the show with. I was originally thinking, this is what I'm going to open the show with because it's obviously a hot topic. A lot of Knicks fans want to, chime in on this. So obviously I figured, I thought that was for sure going to be a show open. But then, the bad, the New York Jets come swarming it. And right the day after the draft flight, what was it, May 14th, 2019? And that was the night of the NBA draft lottery. That was the night where the Pelicans got the first overall pick. I believe the Memphis Grizzlies got the second overall pick. The Knicks got the third pick. So obviously that was a big hot topic going through throughout the night and into tomorrow morning, May 15th, 2019. That was what everyone was talking about. That was what every sports talk radio show was talking about. And that's what I think a lot of shows like Mike Maccagnan show, Mike Francesa, that was what a lot of people were participating. That was going to be what everyone was going to talk about throughout the entire show that day, May 15th. That was going to be the hot topic throughout the entire show for out sports talk media everywhere. But then, once again, that same day, the New York Jets made a big time, splash in the news, and not in a good way. For those of you who don't know, for those of you who are living under a rock, the New York Jets fired their general manager, Mike Maccagnan. I mean, obviously, he is out as general manager. Mike Maccagnan has been fired. A lot of people were speculating that he was going to be fired sometime during the season when they fired Todd Bowles. They did not. They decided to keep him. They hired Adam Gase as their head coach. But then, after free agency, after the NFL draft, now they decided to fire Mike Maccagnan, and Adam Gase will end up being the interim GM. And I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I feel bad for Jets fans because this just reeks of dysfunction. Honestly, this reeks of just complete dysfunction. Say what you want about Mike Maccagnan. You could be a fan of his. You could not be a fan of it. I liked Mike Maccagnan. I liked Mike Maccagnan. I didn't love him, but I did like him. I thought he was doing a pretty decent job, but I can understand why some Jets fans were, not thrilled with, the job he was doing, because honestly, ever since Mike Maccagnan took over, there's been, nothing but bad season. Obviously, 5-11, 2017, 4-12 in 2018. So I can understand, Jets fans not being a big fan of him and why him gone. And if the Jets had fired Mike Maccagnan at the same time they fired Todd Bowles, I would not have had a problem with it. I would not have had a problem with it. Because it makes perfect sense. If you're gonna move on from the head coach that you don't like, and obviously everyone agrees that after the end of the 2018 season, it was time for Todd Bowles to go. But it was time for Todd. It was time. it was time for Todd Bowles to go. But a lot of people were speculating that maybe Mike Maccagnan would have gone out the door with them. And if you were gonna fire Mike Maccagnan, that was the time to do it. If you didn't like him, if you didn't really have faith in him, if you didn't trust his direction, if you didn't trust the moves he was making, then that was the time to fight. Then that was then that was the time to then that was then that was the time to fire him. That should have been the time when that should have been the time when the Jets fired Mike Maccagnan. It should have been right then when they fired Todd Bowles. Instead, they keep him and they hire Adam Gase as head coach, which was a controversial hire to say the least. I wasn't a fan of the hire. I thought there were better options out there. Therefore, the Jets felt like they were settling. Obviously, Adam Gase had his issues, and Dolphins. A lot of the players didn't like in Miami with the Dolphins. A lot of players didn't like him, with the Dolphins. So it was obviously a very controversial hire to begin with. But now, Mike Maccagnan is out the door as general manager, and Adam Gase is now going to step in as interim GM. And I said this before, this just reeks of dysfunction, because again, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. I would have had no problem firing Mike Maccagnan if you had done it, kicked him out of the door with Todd Bowles. But fire him now, after free agency, after the draft, just reeks of dysfunction. If you have faith in them, if you didn't really like him, which is obvious because you now fired him. If you didn't like him, you should have done it, before. You should have kicked him out the door with Todd Bowles, because now you let a guy that you did not like run free agency and run your draft. The two most critical parts of building your football team during the offseason, the free agency period and the draft period, the two most crucial areas of the offseason where a football general manager builds his football team. You let a guy that you did not like end up running the show, and that is just inexcusable, and that just reeks of dysfunction. It just reeks of dysfunction. You let a guy that you did not like, that you were gonna fire, that you ended up firing, run on your offseason. And now, all the moves that Mike Maccagnan you're gonna have to live with them all. Assuming that the Jets do not like the moves assuming the Jets did not like the moves that Mike Maccagnan made this offseason, you're now gonna have to live with them all. You could have fired him at the end of the year, kicked him out of the door with Todd Bowles, hire a new general manager, and that you have faith in, and then you go from there. Maybe the offseason would turn out how you more like it. Obviously, a lot of people will say, but the Jets have had a fantastic offseason. They drafted Quillen Williams with the third overall pick. That was a great draft pick. They signed Le'Veon Bell, one of the best running backs in the National Football League. So a lot of people are wondering, what could be the issue. Why would the Jets, not be a fan of the job that Mike Maccagnan is doing? And honestly, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know why the Jets would have a problem with Mike Maccagnan during this offseason. Maybe in the past, because the Jets have underachieved under him. But really, Mike Maccagnan he's done a good job. He's done a good job ever since 2017. He traded up to get Sam Darnold, landed what I'm 99% sure is going to be their quarterback of the future. They got their quarterback of the future in Sam Darnold. They got Quentin Williams, a defensive stud, arguably the best player in the draft, and now they signed Le'Veon Bell, one of the best, running backs in the National Football League. So I don't understand what could be the problem. But then we learned that, as reports come out, that apparently Adam Gase, who's now the interim GM, was not a fan of giving Le'Veon Bell that. Was not a fan of the Le'Veon Bell, so he doesn't believe in paying a running back that much money. And this goes into other reports that there was a power struggle between Mike Maccagnan and Adam Gase, which again it's ridiculous for so many reasons. Number one, the Jets had just hired Adam Gase. They just hired him in a hire that was just controversial, to say the least. A lot of fans weren't a fan of it. I personally wasn't a fan of the hire, so it was a controversial hiring already. But now you're coming here and let him win a power struggle over 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 your general manager. And now Adam Gase is the and Adam Gase is pretty much now the is gonna be interim GM until the Jets until the Jets end up finding their new general manager. We'll get into that. And so the candidates that I've heard, like one of which is, I believe, is absolutely ridiculous. One of which I believe is absolutely ridiculous. So we'll get into all that later on. But for now, I just want to stick the power struggle between Mike Maccagnan and Adam Gase. And Adam Gase is allowed, your head coach is allowed to win a power struggle over his general manager. That just proves one thing. One, it reeks of dysfunction. Number two, it shows that the Jets had no faith in Mike Maccagnan. They didn't have any faith in him as general manager. Which again, if that was the case, fine, fire him along with when you fired Todd Bowles. Fire him when you fired Todd Bowles. Letting him make all these moves. It was your draft. Let him run your draft. Let him make all the moves of free agency, and then fire him is just reeks of dysfunction. It just reeks of dysfunction. It's just unacceptable, to be honest. It's just unacceptable for an NFL organization to be ran like that. Adam Gase looks at all this dysfunction that's going on right now with the Jets. He looks at this like he just got fired from the Dolphins. Let's put this all into perspective. Adam Gase just got fired by the Dolphins. He looks at the function going on right now with the Jets, and his eyes light up. He gets all giddy inside. Ooh, let's go see if I can go, I'm gonna go interview for, the head coaching job, and I'm gonna see if I'll get the job now, and I'm taking over the entire franchise. And it worked! It worked! It's just ridiculous, to be honest with you guys. I know I'm losing myself here, but it's just I have no words. Adam Gase just walks into the Jets. He just walks in, wins a power struggle over Mike Maccagnan, and just wins a power struggle over Maccagnan. Adam Gase saw it coming from a mile away. He looks at the Jets, see how dysfunctional they are, and his eyes just light up, and he just goes like, "Let me go see if I can, let's go see if I can, interview, get the head coaching job, and I'll end up winning a power struggle, get the general manager they're fired, and then take over as interim GM, and it ended up working." It's unbelievable, guys. I mean, it is just unbelievable. I mean, that's probably gonna be a clip later on in the show, by the way, but that's neither here. That's neither here nor there. But again, Adam Gase comes in, wins a power struggle, and again, there were reports that that Adam Gase wasn't a fan of giving Le'Veon Bell all that, and Adam Gase was just not a fan of giving Le'Veon Bell and Adam Gase is Adam Gase just was not a fan of giving Le'Veon Bell all that Mike wasn't a fan of paying a running back a non-premium position that much money, and that's fair. Like, if that's his opinion, you know what? Fine, that's his opinion. That's how he wants to run. That's it. That's if that's his opinion, like by all means, he can have that opinion. But for the Jets to then then just let me just put this all together, because it's hard to put this all together. This dysfunction. The Jets, they allow the general manager to bring in Le'Veon Bell, and they are firing the guy that brought in Le'Veon Bell and gave the interim GM job to a guy who didn't want to hire Le'Veon Bell, and ultimately there's a lot of rumors out there that the Adam Gase is pretty much going to be handpicking his next interim general manager. They're probably getting a lot of reports that they're going to get the guy from the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not sure what the guy's name is, but apparently him and Adam Gase are close. I mean, I'm not sure what the guy's name actually is. If anyone can inform about that, hit me up on Twitter at Grassani96 at Twitter. Call the show and tell me, but by all means, just call the show and tell me. But yeah, that's gonna be ultimately gonna end up being the guy that the Jets are targeting for. That's ultimately gonna end up being the guy that the Jets are gonna be targeting for the new general manager. Adam Gase is gonna end up cherry picking his general manager, which is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. It just reeks of this unction. Now we're getting to reports that ever since the Jets fired Mike Maccagnan, they're probably going to end up that there are rumors that they could end up trading Le'Veon Bell. Now this is all just rumors. For all we know, this could be just rumors, nothing more. But we saw what happened last time with all these rumors that the Jets were going to fire Mike Maccagnan. What happened? Adam Gase, came out and denied it. Can we believe anything that Adam Gase just is telling us? Can we believe anything that just tell us? They ended up lying right to our faces when he denied when he ended up denying all those reports that there was no power struggle between Mike Maccagnan and Adam Gase. Adam Gase denied those reports. The Jets denied those reports. They lied right to our face. So now going forward, how are we supposed to believe a word that those guys are telling us? How are we supposed to believe a word out of their mouths? How are we supposed to ever believe them again? Whenever Adam Gase goes on his weekly spot with the Mike Maccagnan show, and they ask him, questions, and they come up, and maybe there's a rumor around that's flying around, it's a controversial rumor, Adam Gase denies it. What's gonna stop the Mike Maccagnan show from just saying, how can we trust you? How can we trust you that you are actually not lying right to our face? How can we trust you that you are not lying? How can anyone end up trusting this man? I mean, it's laughable, to be honest. Again, it's just laughable. It's just laughable. It's just a complete mess. I mean, it's just a complete mess. So again, we get all these reports that the Jets, reports rumors that they're gonna trade Le'Veon Bell, because again, Adam Gase is now running the show. He wasn't a fan of giving Le'Veon Bell. He wasn't a fan of signing Le'Veon Bell. He wasn't a fan of giving him that big of a contract. So the Jets are gonna end up firing not firing Le'Veon Bell. I'm sorry, but the Jets are gonna ultimately end up moving after Le'Veon Bell and trading him. So here's the deal, Jets. Let me just put this all into perspective. They're gonna let the general manager, Mike Maccagnan, sign Le'Veon Bell, fire the general manager, bring in a guy who didn't want Le'Veon Bell, and now trade him for what's the most you're gonna get for Le'Veon Bell at this point? He's under a big contract. Running backs are not a premium position in this league, so you're gonna trade him. You're probably gonna get hit with a lot of dead money, and now you're gonna trade him for probably a more underwhelming package than what the Giants got for Odell Beckham Jr. And that is saying something. That right there is saying something. I said before, like last year with all those reports out there that the Giants are going to trade Odell Beckham Jr. If you're going to do it in 2018 and don't give him the contract extension. Don't trade a guy right after you pay him. And that, assuming these reports are all true, it just reeks. It just reeks of dysfunction. It just shows that the Jets how can anyone have any faith that the Jets are going in the right direction? Even with all the moves that they've made some pretty good moves. Again, they drafted Sam Darnold, a quarterback that a lot of people, myself included, are very high on. I think it's going to be an absolute stud in the NFL. They signed Le'Veon Bell, one of the best running backs in the league, a star running back in the National Football League. They draft Quinn Williams, arguably the best player in the draft. He's going to be the anchor of their defense for years to come. So a lot of people, there are a lot of good vibes around the Jets. The Giants, everyone looks at us as a laughingstock, and rightfully so. A lot of people, the Jets are looking at the Giants saying, wow, they're because this might be our chance to finally establish ourselves as the prime franchise in New York City, the non-dysfunctional franchise in New York City, the actual good franchise in New York City. This is our chance to officially take the reins from the Giants as the best football team in New York, because they're a circus right now. And what happens? They end up blowing it. They end up completely sky high. They end up completely botching it, and they end up proving that even though the Giants are a circus right now, even though the Giants are a circus right now, rightfully so. I mean, the Giants said we're an absolute laughing stock. We're an absolute laughing stock right now. We're a circus. I mean, I could go on and on about how much of a dumpster fire the Giants are. And you can make fun of the Giants right now, and rightfully so. They're a mess. But don't forget that with all these reports about the Jets and they're firing with this fire with Mike Maccagnan, just don't forget about the New York Jets and how this move just proves that they are indeed a laughing stock as well. We have two football teams in New York City, the Giants and the Jets. The Bills are a New York State team, but we're talking New York City, in the tri-state area, all that. We have two football teams, the Giants and the Jets, and both of them right now are laughing stocks. It is just very, sad to see. Thanks for listening to the Fire and Thunder Sports Podcast. Be sure to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe to Super Adam 66 for more of the podcast, as well as more sports and entertainment content. Also follow on Twitter and Instagram at Grassani6. New York Knicks. The NBA draft lottery just wrapped up. It was like 12 days ago. It was May 14th, so the NBA draft lottery just wrapped up, and New York Knicks ended up getting the number 3 pick in the NBA draft. A lot of people were hoping they would get the number 1 overall pick. They would end up choosing Zion Williamson, who is all but guaranteed to be the number 1 pick in the 2019 NBA draft. He's a potential generational talent. He was a phenom power forward. He was an absolute phenom at Duke, and everyone says this guy has the potential to be the next big thing. The 2019 in the 2019 in the NBA draft. He has the potential to be the next big thing in the NBA. He has the potential to be the next big thing. He has the potential to be the next big thing in basketball. He has that kind of potential. So a lot of Knicks fans, obviously the Knicks. I mean, we could do a laundry list of things of how it's not been a good 40 years. It has not been a good 40 years for Knicks fans. The Knicks have not had a good. The Knicks have not had a good run over the last couple of years. They've not had a good run. They haven't won a title since 1973. They had a couple of good years back during the Patrick Ewing days in the 1990s, but ultimately they failed to win a championship. You could thank Michael Jordan and his dominance of the Bulls for that, but ever since then in the 2000s, this current century, in the 2000s, I believe the Knicks have the worst winning percentage in the NBA. So they have the worst winning percentage in the NBA over that span. I'm not sure of how long it goes back, but I believe it's since 2001, 2002. They have the worst winning percentage in the NBA. So it's not been a good 15, 17 years for Knicks fans, as they've been a dumpster fire for a very long time. They haven't won a title since 1973. So a lot of Knicks fans are going to the 2019 NBA draft, hoping that with all this time, after all these years of waiting, after all these years of misery, after all these years of suffering, that their fortunes will finally change. They have 40% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick. So a lot of Knicks fans were hopeful that they would end up getting the number 1 pick. They would end up getting Zion Williamson. That they would end up turning their franchise around. This will ultimately be the point where the Knicks finally become relevant again. They finally take their next big step toward finally bring the Larry O'Brien trophy, the Larry O'Brien Trophy, back to New York City. A lot of people were hopeful that this would finally be a turn point for the Knicks franchise, and ultimately they failed to get they ultimately did not get the number one overall pick. That ended up going to the New Orleans Pelicans. The Memphis Grizzlies got the third overall pick. The Lakers got the fourth overall pick, and the Knicks got the third overall pick. So obviously, a lot of Knicks fans were heartbroken on draft day. A lot of Knicks fans were angry on draft day. A lot of fans were disappointed. On draft night. They didn't get the number one pick, and ultimately are gonna have little to no shot at Zion Williamson, because even if the Pelicans are moronic enough to not take Zion Williamson, he's not going past Memphis. Even if the Pelicans somehow take John Moran, someone else other than Zion, like, he's not going. The Memphis Grizzlies are just gonna sprint to the podium to pick Zion Williamson. So Zion Williamson is not falling to number 3, guys. I mean, unless like some freak injury happens, unless something crazy happens, then Zion Williamson is not gonna end up becoming a New York Knicks. So ultimately, that dream is dead. The Knicks are all but not getting Zion Williamson. A lot of Knicks fans are disappointed and angry. And I just want to say this to Knicks fans: you could be disappointed. I mean, you could be disappointed. I said that's why Knicks fans would be a little disappointed, because you ultimately thought that you had a legitimate shot at Zion Williamson. You had a 40% odds. You were tied with 3 other teams for the best odds to get the number 3, the number 1 overall pick, and ultimately that didn't work out. You ended up getting the number 3, and ultimately that didn't work out. You ended up getting sorry about that, but you ended up getting the number 3 overall pick instead. So a lot of Knicks fans are disappointed, but they're not going to get Zion, right? And rightfully so, as I just said. And rightfully so. Oh, well, I was starting to say that you would be disappointed. But a lot of Knicks fans are angry. A lot of Knicks fans are angry. Oh, this is the end of the world. Knicks are still a dumpster fire. We'll never end up being good ever again. I just want to say this to Knicks fans. Getting the number 3 overall pick is absolutely not the end of the world for Knicks fans. Is not the end of the world for Knicks fans, because because a lot of NBA analysts are saying it, and a lot of people around the NBA are saying it. This is a 3-player draft. There are 3, I don't want to say can't miss, but 3 big time players in this draft. That is Zion Williamson, John Morant, the superstar point guard. I forget what college he's from, and Zion's teammate R.J. Barrett, also from Duke. Zion Williamson from Duke, and R.J. Barrett, who's also from Duke. A lot of people are saying that R.J. Barrett's going to go number 3 overall. A lot of rumors that are saying that the Grizzlies are all in on taking John Morant at number 2. So R.J. Barrett's probably going to go to the Knicks at number 3. So we also, but basically that's what we said. It's a 3-player. It's ultimately it's ultimately gonna be a 3-player draft. Zion, R.J. Barrett, and John Morant. It's gonna be those 3 guys. It's a 3-player draft, and the Knicks ended up defying the odds and getting one of those 3 players. They're guaranteed to get at least one of those 3 players. At least one of those 3 players will be on the board. When the Knicks pick, and that is a huge win for the Knicks. That is a big win for the Knicks. They're gonna get one of the 3 plus. They're gonna get one of the 3. They're gonna get one of the 3 best players in the draft. Because you look back at the odds actually, Knicks had a better chance of falling out of the top 3 and getting the number 4 pick, or getting the number 5 pick, and that would end up being disastrous. Because again, we said it was a 3-player draft. You had to get one of the top 3 picks. If you end up getting the number 4 or 5 pick, you ultimately lose out on those top of those 3 big time players. You miss out on a chance at those 3 big time play. You also miss out on those 3 big time free agents. You also miss out on Zion. I mean, you're not getting Zion, right? But for the sake of argument, Zion, R.J. Barrett, and John Morant. You miss out on all 3 of those guys. You have you have pretty much no shot of getting those guys if you're picking outside of the top. If you're picking outside of the top 3, if you're picking 4, picking 5. The Knicks had a better chance of picking at those 2 spots than they did at picking in the top 3. And they ultimately defied the odds and picked it and got a top 3 pick. They're going to get a chance at one of those 3 players. Most likely RJ Barrett, who, by the way, I'm just giving the Knicks fans some food for thought, going into the season was projected to be the first overall pick. Even before Zion broke out, before Zion ultimately broke out and proved it in that he's a potential generation talent, before all the crazy about Zion happened, RJ Barrett, his teammate from Duke, was projected to be the first overall pick. He was projected to be the best player in the draft. He was projected to be the number 1 overall pick. So you're now getting a guy, assuming the Knicks, pick at 3 and Zion and, jump right off the board, you're going to pick RJ Barrett, who was projected to be the first overall pick in the NBA draft in the season begins. And you're still getting a great player at number 3. You're still getting a great player at number 3 overall. You're getting RJ Barrett, who's a great shooter, a much better shooter than Zion Williamson is. There's one flaw in Zion Williamson's game. He'll admit to you himself that it's a shooting. His shooting, his outside game, is something that Zion Williamson needs to work on. RJ Barrett's a great shooter himself, and he played a big role into Duke's season, the phenomenal season that again, he was projected to be the first. He was projected, to end up being the first overall pick. He was projected to go number 1 overall when the season began, and the Knicks are ultimately gonna likely have a shot at him. They're gonna be picking likely when he is ultimately on the board. So that's a huge win for the Knicks. It's a big win for the Knicks. It's not humongous. It's a home run for the Knicks. It's not a grand slam. But Zion Williamson getting the number 1 overall pick, that would have been a grand slam. That would have been an absolute grand slam. That would have been an absolute dream. That was the dream scenario for the Knicks getting the number 1 pick, getting Zion Williamson. That was the dream scenario. That was the grand slam. That was ultimately the grand slam scenario, getting Zion Williamson and getting a potential generational talent is Zion Williamson. But also, you got a 40% chance about that. You had an 86% chance that wasn't gonna happen, and look what happened. 86% ultimately was right that you didn't get the number 1 pick. You didn't get the number 1 pick, but you still managed to defy the odds. The Knicks still managed to defy the odds and do something that they had a better chance of not doing. And they ultimately got the number 3 overall pick. And a chance at a guy who was projected to go first overall back before the college basketball season began. Zion ultimately broke out. They're getting a chance at a guy who was projected to be a first overall pick before Zion Williamson ultimately broke out. And as a Knicks fan, you just have to feel happy about that. You have to feel happy. You have to feel optimistic that you ultimately got a top 3 pick and a chance at RJ Barrett. That's a home run for it. That's ultimately a home run for the Knicks. It's not a grand slam. It's not the dream scenario, but it's still a big win for the Knicks. It's still a huge win for the Knicks. So right now, Knicks fans are upset that they're not gonna get Zion Williamson, and you could be a little upset. You could be disappointed, but don't be angry. It's not the end of the world. It's far from the under the world. I can't believe what I'm saying, but the future is still bright for Knicks fans. The future is still bright. You're gonna have a chance at RJ Barrett, which is gonna be ultimately a great thing for the Knicks, because the Knicks now have a big time trade chip that they can use to trade to the New Orleans Pelicans for Anthony Davis. So if you're listening to reports that even though the Pelicans won Neo NBA draft lottery, they're definitely gonna pick Zion Williamson. I think the entire basketball world would be stuck on if they pick Zion Williamson, and also would have to force if the Pelicans don't pick Zion Williamson, then Adam Silver should step in and force the Pelicans to fire everyone and sell the team at that point, because Oh boy, that would be something. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. Now the Pelicans got the the number 1 overall pick, even though they got the number 1 overall pick and probably gonna take Ion, Anthony Davis. Like it was reported that Anthony Davis, who earlier in the season refused to sign an extension, has requested a trade. So that his stance, has not changed. Even though the Pelicans won the NBA draft lottery, he still wants to be traded. That could end up changing. Like for all we know, like a month from now, Anthony Davis has changed his mind. He wants to play. Wants to stay in New Orleans. But for all those, like Anthony Davis could change his mind. But right now, let's just say Anthony Davis is still available for trade, and that the Pelicans are probably gonna make a trade for Anthony Davis. The Knicks probably now have one of the biggest assets that they could use to make a trade for Anthony Davis, number 3 overall pick. A lot of people overall pick. A lot of people are saying that the Lakers, now they got the number 4 overall pick, that they could trade that and for Anthony Davis, and that argument does make sense because the Lakers do have some more young talent than the Knicks have. The Knicks have, the Lakers have Kyle Kuzma. The Knicks have Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram. So you can make an argument that the Lakers have more trade chips to make a trade for Anthony Davis, but the Knicks, in my opinion, still of the two teams that have an advantage of making a trade for Anthony Davis. I think the Knicks have the advantage over the Lakers of putting together the best package for Anthony Davis. I think the Knicks have a better chance of putting together a better package for Anthony Davis than the Lakers do. Why? For multiple reasons. Number one, the difference between picks. Obviously, it's only one spot, but that one spot difference makes all the difference in a row. Knicks have the number 3 pick. Lakers only have the number 4 pick. Again, we said earlier in the show that this is a 3-player draft. Zion Williamson, who's going to go with New Orleans, number 1. The number 2 overall pick. Number 2, which is probably going to be John Morant. And number 3, which is probably going to be RJ Barrett. All right. After that, there is a huge drop off between them and prospects. Those are 3 big time can't miss players, and everything else beyond. Everything else beyond that is just a gamble. You have no idea what you're, and everyone else is a tier below. You have no idea where they're become. I mean, for all we know, one of them could shock the world and become the next Steph Curry or Johnson Antetokounmpo or Kawhi Leonard. One of those guys could end up shocking the world. But right now, it's the odds are that that's not gonna. But the odds are telling you that that's probably not gonna happen. So there's a huge drop off in terms of prospect quality from the number 3 overall pick to the number 4 overall pick, from the top 3 to beyond. There's a huge drop off between the first 3 picks and the rest of the NBA draft. It's a huge drop off from there. Again, 3-player draft. So once those 3 players are gone, there's a big time drop off. So Knicks have a top 3 pick, and a chance to get one of those 3 players. The Lakers, on the other hand, at the number 4 spot, do not. So the Knicks have a huge advantage over the Lakers in that regard. The Knicks have a huge advantage over the Lakers. The Lakers there that they have a pick that could actually be used to get RJ. They could be used to get one of the 3 best players in the draft, and the Lakers do not. The Knicks have a number 3 pick. Knicks have a top 3 pick. The Lakers do not. So that's a huge advantage over the Knicks there. And plus, we add the fact that New Orleans has the number 1 overall pick. They're going to take Zion Williamson. The fact that the Knicks could trade the number 3 overall pick for them, and the Pelicans draft, RJ Barrett, Zion Williamson, reunion in New Orleans, do not tell me that the Pelicans would not be interested in a trade to make that happen. So that's that was right there a big advantage that the Knicks have. If you package that number 3 overall pick with some of your young talents, like if you package that with a guy like a Kevin Knox, like a Mitchell Robinson, like a Dennis Smith Jr. If you package that with guys like a Mitchell Robinson, like a Dennis Smith Jr., like a Kevin Knox, if you put together like that kind of deal, I think that deal could very easily get a trade done for Zion Williamson. I think the Knicks have a great chance. I think the Knicks have a great chance of making that trade out with the picks that they have. So that's one route the Knicks could go. That's just one of the many routes that the Knicks could end up choosing. That's just one of the many routes the Knicks could end up choosing it. The Knicks can end up choosing in this draft. That's one. Make a trade for Anthony Davis. And if you don't make a trade for Anthony Davis, you still are the favorites right now. The favorites to land Kevin Durant. And as you all know, Kevin Durant signed with the Golden State Warriors. Everyone expects him to leave Golden State, after the season, become a free agent. It is being reported that the Knicks are the favorites to land him. Vegas has the favorites to land him. Vegas, are saying that Vegas right now has the Knicks as the favorites to land Kevin Durant. Stephen A. Smith said there's a 95% chance that him and Kyrie Irving are gonna be Knicks. Colin Cowherd said it's a 100% chance that they're gonna be Knicks. So right now the Knicks are the favorites to land Kevin Durant. So that's another route out. So that's another route the Knicks to go. Knicks have so many options here, guys. That's why getting the number 3 pick is a home run for them. Now with the number 3 overall pick, they have so many options. They have so many different options they could choose from. They have so many different paths they could take. They could sit there, draft R.J. Barrett number 3, sign Kyrie Irving, and sign Kevin Durant. That's one route they could go. Or they could trade the number 3 overall pick for some of the young players for Anthony Davis and still have one max slot to get a guy like Kyrie Irving, maybe Kevin Durant. Who knows? If the Knicks could get Kevin Durant, and Anthony Davis, then I think you as a Knicks fan sign for that 100% of the time, and you all the hard feelings about not getting Zion Williamson, who are saying just go out the rear end. It just goes away. All those negative thoughts about not getting Zion Williamson, they go out the door. But one thing's for sure, I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think the Knicks are gonna get both Anthony Davis and Kevin Durant with them. There's always that possibility. If the Knicks do make a trade for Anthony Davis, they'll probably go for a guy like Jimmy Butler or Kyrie Irving. But that's just one possible scenario right there. They could trade for Anthony Davis, sign another max free agent, or they could stay at number 3, draft R.J. Barrett, sign Kevin Durant, and sign Kyrie Irving. So Knicks have so many options right now at their disposal. They have so many different paths that they could take. But right now, I'll say this: Knicks right now have to make one of those 3 things happen. Like as I said before, even though missing on Zion Williamson is not the end of the world, it's not the end of the world right now, because the Knicks, as we just mentioned, with the number 3 overall pick, have so many different options at their table. They can either trade that pick for Anthony Davis or keep it, draft R.J. Barrett, and land Kevin Durant. However, if the Knicks don't, let's say, worst case scenario, if the Knicks don't get Kevin Durant and they don't trade for Anthony Davis, then the offseason is a bust. It's just that simple. The offseason is a complete bust for multiple reasons. Number 1, you trade Kristaps Porzingis. I didn't think it was a good trade at the time. Now that I've had some time to think about it, it was a good trade. You end up creating those 2 max slots, and now you're gonna be big time players from guys like Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. So I thought that was I personally think that was ultimately a really good. So I personally think that was a really good move for them to create those 2 max slots. But that's all there are right now. Cap space and 2 max slots. That's it. And if you end up swinging and missing on Kevin Durant, you don't trade for Anthony Davis, and you settle on, let's just say, for the sake of argument, Kyrie Irving and Jimmy Butler with R.J. Barrett, that's still solid, but it's not going to get you anywhere in the Eastern Conference. If you have Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Jimmy Butler, and R.J. Barrett, that team is not going to end up getting that team is not gonna compete for in the Eastern Conference. Because even with those three guys, are they better than the Milwaukee Bucks? Are they better than the Raptors who are going to the NBA Finals? I think there's like a 99% chance that Kawhi Leonard's staying there now. Are they better than the Philadelphia 76ers? Those are three teams right now, right off the bat, that they're right now not better than. I'm a Nets fan. I don't think they might even. I don't think it's a guarantee that they're better than the Nets. I'm honest. I'm non-biased right here. Nets fan and unbiased take right here. I don't think there's any guarantee if the Knicks get Kyrie Irving, Jimmy Butler, and RJ Barrett. That team, I don't think that team is better than I don't think there's any guarantee that team's better than the Nets at all. So those are four teams right off the bat that are gonna be better than the Knicks. Knicks, in all likelihood, if that's their offseason, they only get Kyrie Irving, Jimmy Butler, and RJ Barrett, then that team is not getting that team is not getting home court advantage in the first round of the NBA playoffs. There's a chance there's this outside chance that they might not even make the playoffs, because even if they with those three players, Knicks will still have even though the Knicks will still have some young talent, they'll still have some. They'll still need some depth. They still have some depth that they need to acquire. So if that's their offseason, Kyrie Irving, Jimmy Butler, and RJ Barrett, that is doom and gloom. That is the worst case scenario for the New York Knicks. If they miss out on Anthony Davis and they miss out on Kevin Durant, then the offseason is a failure. The offseason is a bust. The Porzingis trade was a bust, and then you could be mad about not getting Zion Williamson. See, if you got the number one overall pick and you got Zion Williamson, but then you missed out on Kevin Durant, it's not the end of the world, because you got a potential generational talent in Zion Williamson. Those three guys I just mentioned, Kyrie Irving, RJ Barrett, and Jimmy Butler, are any of those guys even close to being generational talents? Are any of those guys superstars? I mean, RJ Barrett could potentially turn into a superstar, but that's still far from a guarantee. That's far from a guarantee. Kyrie Irving is not, in my opinion, is not a superstar. Jimmy Butler's definitely not a superstar. So Knicks will have on their roster, if that's their offseason, they will not have a guy who's capable of being the best player on a championship team on that roster. None of those three guys right there have the potential for being that. At least not next year. Not next year. Again, if you got Zion Williamson, you have a guy who maybe that won't be a superstar right out of the gate, but you feel like certain that he's in all likelihood going to turn into a guy who could be the best player on a championship team. You're going to get that level of player. If you have missed out on Kevin Durant, you would have been content with having Zion Williamson. You would have been content with content with getting Zion Williamson. You would have been content with that. However, now you are not going to get Zion Williamson. You don't get the number 1 overall pick. You get the number 3 overall pick. Now, if you don't either A, trade that pick for Anthony Davis, or B, go out there and sign Kevin Durant. If neither of those things happen, the Knicks franchise is right back where they were. The Knicks franchise is right back where they were a couple years ago during the Carmelo Anthony days. Solid playoff team that could compete in the playoffs. Maybe they'll end up getting for home court advantage. But are they end up going to be contenders for an NBA championship with Kyrie Irving, Jimmy Butler, and RJ Barrett as their big three? I think that scenario is unlikely, to say the least, that the Knicks are going to be a championship team with those three guys. So again, this offseason is for the Knicks. Now they get the number 3 overall pick. It's either A, keep that number 3 overall pick, draft RJ Barrett, sign KD and another max free agent, or B, trade the number 3 overall pick for Anthony Davis and then sign a max free agent. either of those two outs in New York Knicks. You have a choice at either. You have a choice at either of those two scenarios. If you swing and miss at all, if you swing and miss, it's on both those scenarios, and neither of those things happen, then Knicks fans have a right to be very angry and very, disappointed. Thanks for listening to the Fire and Thunder Sports Podcast. Be sure to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe to Super Adam 66 for more of the podcast, as well as more sports and entertainment content. Also follow on Twitter and Instagram at Grassani6. And the New York Yankees have been on a tear lately. Earlier in the season, after the Yankees suffered all those injuries. After the Yankees just suffered, all those injuries. They lost Giancarlo Stanton. He's gonna be out till he just recently, had a setback in his injury. He's probably gonna be out till at the very least late June. Aaron Judge, same thing, probably gonna be out till at least late June. Not official. There's no timetable on Aaron Judge, but probably gonna be, in my estimation, at least late June. Same thing with Didi Gregorius. He's still out there starting shortstop. He's probably gonna still be out until late June. So that's three pieces that the Yankees aren't gonna get back until June. Miguel Andujar, ultimately, Yankees starting third baseman, had an unbelievable rookie season last year. Will ultimately, have season-ending, shoulder surgery to repair, a torn labrum. So that's a big-time bat, in that lineup that the Yankees have lost for the entire season. Aaron Hicks missed significant time with the injury. He just recently got back. Luis Severino, their ace, their the ace of their staff. He's still on the injured list. Who knows when he's gonna come back? Dan Antis, one of the big time relievers in that bullpen. He's gonna be out for a while. Who knows when he's gonna come back? So we all knew the narrative this season. The Yankees were devastated by injuries after injuries after injuries. The Yankees have had pretty much all their key pieces go down for at least time. However, against all odds, odds, ever since that injury, throughout this entire season, against all the odds, after the Yankees got off to a 5-8 start to their season, back when they first started all these injuries, back when they first started really getting hurt by the injury bug, they have now gone 29-9 in their last 38 games. 29-9 in the last 38 games. That is just unbelievable. What the Yankees are doing right now is unbelievable. Name me a time in any sport. Alright, let's just, any sport we could say, this is the last time I haven't seen this in any sport, but let's just use baseball for an example. Let's just use baseball for the example right here. Let's just stick with baseball here, just for the example. Name me the last time a team lost their best overall player, in the Yankees case, Aaron Judge. One of the best players in baseball, in Aaron Judge. One of the best power hitters in baseball, in Giancarlo Stanton. Like one of their big bats in their lineup, two key bats in their lineup. One of the key leaders in their clubhouse, in Didi Gregorius. Their ace starting pitcher in Luis Severino. Losing Miguel Andujar, like a big time bat in the lineup for the entire year. Losing Dylan Betances, one of their key relievers. They also have other guys miss time. Gary Sanchez missed time. Aaron Hicks missed some time. Name me the last time a team suffered that many injuries and still, managed to brush off like it's no big deal. Let's be honest. If the Yankees, were fully healthy right now, this is how you would expect them to be playing. This is about 29-9 in their last 38 games. I don't think the current Yankees that are injured, if they had all those guys healthy, I don't think they would be able to do any better. In fact, they may have done worse. That's crazy to say. That's absolutely insane to say, but Actually. I mean, I don't think they would have done worse. I mean, let's be honest, I don't think they would have done worse. But I find it hard to believe that they would have that those guys, even if the Yankees were fully healthy, they would have done better than the stress they've been on. I find very hard to believe that they would have actually done better over the last 38 games. But I mean, even if they were fully healthy, because what they're doing right now with all their guys out, it's just simply remarkable. Again, 29-9 in their again 29-9 in their last 38 games. It's just unbelievable. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Gary Sanchez is my comeback from AL is my campaign for AL comeback player of the year. Gio Urshela has been he's filling amazingly from Miguel Andrew at third base. He's been great on defense, and his bats, finally, we all knew that, Gio Urshela was, a great defender, but the question for him is, could he, hit consistently? He's done that, and then some for the Yankees so far. He's gotten multiple clutch hits for them. The pickup for him, trading him from Blue Jays for his cash considerations is just one of the main reasons why Brian Cash God is Brian Cash God. It's just one of the reasons. He just always has that ability to find hidden gems in the rough. His ability to find those hidden diamonds in the rough is just second to none. It's just second to none with Brian Cashman. But Gio Urshela's been a star so far. DJ LeMahieu's been in one of the most valuable players for this team. I say it in the opposite. He's the exact type of player the Yankees needed. A contact hitter, a batting title champion, who also had Gold Glove defense. He's super versatile in the infield. He can play third base, he can play first base, he can play second base. He basically wherever you put up, he's gonna give you Gold Glove caliber defense. So he's been one of the Yankees. He's been, in my opinion, one of the Yankees' best signings in a long time. And Domingo Germán has emerged as a pitcher, and the Yankees' ace so far in the rotation. Domingo Germán has been, the Yankees' ace so far. The Yankees' ace so far in the rotation. He's been their best pitcher so far. The emergence of him has been, a big deal. Gleyber Torres is building off his, amazing rookie campaign from last year. He had a dominant series against the Royals. I'm gonna get into that, after the break. I got a lot of great things to say about Gleyber Torres. So we'll get into that, we'll get into that after the break. But right now, I just want to see, I also just try to put into words like what the Yankees are doing a lot, because that's what the Yankees are doing right now. All their guys, a lot of guys are stepping up. Again, all the guys are just mentioned are stepping up. Clint Frazier has stepped up. He's been pretty good. He's been pretty good. For the team. He's had some struggles defensively, and his bat, kind of slumped for a little bit. But ever since the Baltimore series against the Baltimore Orioles, in which the Yankees, swept 4 games, like, he played a major role. He played well in that series, and his bat is starting to wake up. So that's a really great sign. So that's a great sign from Clint Frazier. So that's a really good sign from Clint Frazier, right there. And other role players, like Cameron Maybin, he's been pretty good in the outfield. So all the Yankees got right now. Luke Voigt, I forgot to mention him. He's proving that last season was for Luke and Roy. Yankees need to launch Greg Burns to the sun ASAP, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, all the Yankees guys, the Yankees that either that didn't get injured, or all the guys from the Rail Riders and their AAA system, they've come up and they've stepped up. It's always been Yankees' philosophy has been next man up. But a lot of times everyone thinks that eventually that they got next man up is not as good as the guy that he's replacing. That eventually your depth is gonna be tested. Eventually, and then eventually you're just not gonna be able to replace you're not gonna be able to replace the guys. Eventually, these guys, ultimately, a lot of people will say that your depth will ultimately get exposed. And I do think that anytime, I think some of these guys might have gained. I don't want to say exposed. That some of these guys will slow down. The Yankees team will eventually come back. I think the Yankees will ultimately eventually come back down to earth. But right now, the 34-17 on the season, they have a 3-game lead over they have a 3-game lead over the Tampa Bay Rays for the AL East. They're currently in first place in the AL East. So what the Yankees have done over this stretch is they've at the very least they've done a couple things. One, they've given themselves a lot of breathing room. They've given themselves plenty of breathing room. Again, they are 3 games ahead in the American League East. That is a lot of breathing room. A lot of breathing room. So that way, so at the very least, even though they haven't replaced Aaron Judge and Joe Carlson and Didi Gregorius and all those guys permanently, they've at the very least bought those guys some time. So eventually, when they do get fully healthy, and they do get fully healthy, when they do get 100%, when they get all the guys back, it gives them time to get all those guys healthy. It gives them time to get them 100%. It gives them time to get 100%. Because now, like, when they do end up coming back, in all likelihood, the Yankees aren't gonna have their backs against the wall. They're gonna be forced to make a run. They're gonna be sitting at least around they're gonna sing around where they are right now. They're gonna sing around, hovering around the first place mark. Maybe a couple of games ahead, couple of games back of Trump, the Tampa Bay Rays, Boston Red Sox, whoever is catching up on them. They're gonna be right in the mix for at the very least winning the division or winning the wild card. They're gonna be right in that mix, and those guys will come back, and then there's not as much pressure. There's not as much pressure on them to come back and dominate right away. They can ease their guys back. They don't have to rush their guys back. They can take their time with Aaron Judge, take their time with John Carlos Stanton, take their time with Didi Gregorius, Luis Severino, Dump Potentials, all those guys. They can take their time. They can take their time with them and getting them 100%. Because right now, the guys that are playing with the Yankees right now are doing just fine. They're doing just fine. Again, they're first place in the American League. So the Yankees right now are doing just fine, even without all of their big times. The Yankees are doing just fine, even without all the big time sluggers are doing just fine. So that's a big thing for them right now. Number 2, and more importantly, the Yankees are doing 2 things right now that they failed to do last year. And this is where I'm going to talk about the philosophy of this team, how big the stretch has been the Yankees. Not just for their record. Obviously, their record is huge. They're 3 games over 500. They're 3 games over 500. So, obviously, from a record standpoint, this has been a huge. So, obviously, from a record standpoint, this has been a very sorry about that, but no, obviously this has been a huge series for them. So, but from a philosophy standpoint, the Knicks are doing 2 things. One, they're beating up on the bad teams. They're taking advantage of playing all these bad teams. Again, last year, one of the big struggles last year for the Yankees, and one of the reasons they ultimately lost the division to the Boston Red Sox was they failed to beat up on these bad teams. They failed to beat up on teams like the Baltimore Orioles, like the Baltimore Orioles, even though they aren't playing the Seattle Mariners, but teams that they're just flat out better than teams that are either tanky or just at the bottom of the division. They failed to beat up on those bad teams. They failed to beat up on those bad teams last year, and that was one of the reasons they ultimately lost the division to the Boston. They ultimately lost the division to the Boston Red Sox. Now in 2019, they're taking advantage of being up on these bad teams. Let's look at the series in Kansas City. In Kansas City, from April 18th to 21st, their home city against Kansas City won 3 out of 4. That was a series where Aaron Judge got hurt. April 22nd to April 25th against the Los Angeles Angels on the road, took 3 out of 4. Swept the San Francisco Giants on the road. They ultimately lost 2 games against the Arizona Diamondbacks, but then they ultimately took 3 out of 4 games against the Seattle Mariners, a team that started off hot, but ultimately has regressed since then. They took 2 games against the Baltimore Orioles in their home series. 2 of those games ultimately got rained out. They'll ultimately make up those games in August. They just recently swept the Baltimore Orioles on the road, and just recently, just last night, they won the first 2 games of the series against the Kansas City. They just recently had a series, They won the first 2 games of their series on the road against the Kansas City Royals. So they won the first 2 games of that series. They'll have a chance to sweep it today when they play the Kansas City Royals today. So they have a chance to sweep that series. But regardless, the Yankees are beating up on these bad teams. They're beating up on teams like the Baltimore Orioles. Again, they've won 6. Again, ever since they dropped their first 3 games. Again, let me just point out the stat. Ever since they lost their first series against the Baltimore Orioles, they dropped 2 out of 3 against the Baltimore Orioles in the very first series of the season. They swept them in their next series on the road. They didn't sweep them yet, but they won 2 games against them at home, and they just recently swept the Baltimore Orioles on the road. I'm just gonna check it out here. The Yankees right now are 1. They have 2 losses, but their Yankees right now are 1, 2, 3. Give me a second here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-2 against the Baltimore Orioles this year. They're 9-2 against the Baltimore Orioles this year, and that's what the Yankees need to do. They need to beat up on the Baltimore Orioles and win those, and beat up on a bad team like the Baltimore Orioles. That's what they need to do. They need to beat up on those bad teams. They need to beat up on the Baltimore Orioles of the world. They need to be up on the Kansas City Royals of the world. Again, they won their 3 out of 4 games in the home series, and they'll have a chance to sweep the Kansas City Royals tonight. So that's another bad team that they're going to beat me up against. The Seattle Mariners, they won 3 out of 4 against them. They were hot earlier in the season, the Seattle Mariners, but they've regressed since then. The Yankees took advantage, and they took 3 out of 4 from the Seattle Mariners. All while even though the Yankees are beating up on the bad teams, they're still winning games against the good teams. They're still beating up on the good teams as well. In a series against the Minnesota Twins, they won 3. They were currently first place in the AL Central. They took 3 out of 4 to them in a home series against the Twins. They went on the road against the Tampa Bay Rays back when the Tampa Bay Rays were reeling and they were in first place in the division. They took 2 out of 3 from the Tampa Bay Rays on the road. They come back home. The Rays come to visit them at Yankee Stadium. They play a 3-game series against the Tampa Bay Rays at Yankee Stadium. They win 3 out of 4. They were in 3 out of 4 games there, so they're still beating up on the good teams while also beating up on the bad teams. So the Yankees are just really right now. You have to be very happy with what you're seeing from them. We're continue talking Yankees. I want to talk about one player in the Yankees, and that is Gleyber Torres, the second-year, 22-year-old middle infielder. He played a lot of second base last year because Didi Gregorius is a natural shortstop, but plays short because Didi Gregorius plays shortstop. But he's just playing shortstop. Gleyber Torres is playing shortstop. Has been playing a lot of shortstop. Has been playing a lot of shortstop this year, and he's been great defensively. Like, that was one of his issues last year, back when he was 21. He's only 22 now. He was kind of inconsistent last year. He wasn't a good defender, last year at second base. But he's he's played a lot of shortstop this year, and he's been amazing. He's been playing a lot better at shortstop than he was at as second base. He's taken a major step this year defensively. So I've been really impressed by Gleyber Torres in that regard. But the big story with Gleyber Torres is the series he had against the Baltimore Orioles. Now he's just tearing the cover off the ball against the Baltimore Orioles, and Jim Thorne. I forget what his name is. So I'll make sure I Gary Thorne. There we go. Gary Thorne of MAS. I believe some AMFC MASN, and they broadcast the Orioles games on television there. He does play-by-play for them, and he does a great job with the Orioles, and he has just had enough of Gleyber Torres, just dominating the Orioles. Gleyber Torres has hit 12 home runs this year so far. He's banged 287, 333 on base percentage, 537 slugging for an OPS of 8. So it's basically been he's got a lot of extra base hits. He's got 12 of his 50 on his so far. Of his 54 hits so far, 23 of them has got for extra bases. So what Miguel Andujar last year in getting all those extra base hits, Gleyber Torres has been that for the Yankees so far. He's making great contact. He's being that, type of contact guy. I always said about Gleyber Torres, he's not the type of guy that's going to give you, 40 home runs a year. I think the Gleyber Torres' focus should be, just making consistent contact, having that kind of having that high batting average, being that kind of, high batting average guy, in the Yankees line, being that type of, contactor with his, 20, 30 home run a year power. Like, that's the type of guy Gleyber Torres is, and he's been that and more for the Yankees this year. He's gone off to a great start this year for the Yankees. He's much improved defensively. If he keeps this up, I think he's got a very good shot at making, his second All-Star is making the All-Star game again this year. He made the All-Star game last year. I think he's got a great shot at making the All-Star game again this year, if he ultimately keeps this up. But again, we're talking about his series against the Orioles. He's hit 12. Gleyber Torres has hit, 12 home runs so far this year. 10 of them, I repeat, 10 of them have come against the Orioles. And I also want to play this clip. Right here. This is Gary Thorne of AMSN. And he had, of those 10 home runs, 4 of them were against this past series against the Baltimore Orioles. I believe this was the first game of the series and his first home of his 4 home runs of the series. So here's Gary Thorne of ASNBC with the call of Gleyber Torres' first home run of that series.
His numbers against the Orioles this year: 15 for 31, 6 home runs and 8 RBIs. I mean, come on. His average lifetime now against the Orioles is 386. Cashner's 1-0 delivery to him. Torres drives that ball center field, hit deep. Going back near the wall. Wilkerson maybe. Nope. Goodbye home run. Get him out of there. Don't throw to him.
I never seen anything like it.
Put up 4 fingers.
I've never seen anything like it.
He is just tearing the Orioles apart. That'll make it a 2-1 ball game.
That's the call for his first home run of the series, and now that was only his first home run of the series, guys. That was Gleyber Torres' own first home run. That was only his first home run of the series. So we got more calls from him. Trust me, only gets better from there. So here's Gary Thorne's home call. Here's Gary Thorne's home run call for Gleyber Torres' third home run of the series. It was the game, I believe it was the third game. I believe it was the third game of the series. A game where I actually bet on FanDuel Sportsbook. I had money on Gleyber Torres hitting a home run that day. He hit 2 home runs that game. Here's Gary Thorne's call of the first of those 2 home runs.
Torres pumps that during the streak. He's hitting over 400 during this 10-game hit streak. Torres pumps that one in the air. That's to left center field. Wilkerson back. I don't know. Goodbye home run. You cannot imagine this happening in Major League Baseball or any other place in baseball. I mean, he is just unstoppable, and it's all home runs against the Orioles, and it is 5 during this.
All right, so that's Gleyber. That was the call for the first home run. Here's the call for his second home run. Gleyber Torres hit a moonshot, an absolute moonshot to right field. This is Gary Thorne on a call for his second home run of that game.
Runs earned. In the air to right field. Mancini going back on the ball by Torres. Way back, up, and I don't even know. Goodbye home run. I mean, last 2 at bats, he's hit home runs numbers 11 and 12 on the season, and now has 10 home runs against the Orioles.
So there it is. I mean, Gary Thorne, like, he does a great job at ASNBC. I'm gonna be over the summer. I'm gonna be going to on vacation to Maryland. I believe it's the week of. I believe it's during the week where the Yankees are going to be making up those games against, the Orioles at home. So maybe I'll probably be stopping by a restaurant there, where me and my family are going to go out to some of the great restaurants there in Maryland, and we're going to hear Gary Thorne on the call, and that is going to be so entertaining. Trust me, that is going to be a good time. So, but yeah, getting back to Gleyber Torres, he was an absolute beast in that series, and it was more than just, his, performance, with the bat. It's the type of leadership role that Gleyber Torres has, taken, in that clubhouse. It's the it's the type of leadership they showing in that clubhouse now. Because last year, Gleyber Torres, he was more quiet. He wasn't really that. He's not really this type of guy that where you look at it and say, "Oh, that's a leader." He's not, that's one of the more vocal guys in the clubhouse. Like he's more quiet, but he was more quiet. But this year, he's taking a step forward, and he's taking a much more leadership role. This is Gleyber Torres' Gleyber Torres' post-game press conference in the first game of the 4-game series against the Orioles. This is the series where the Orioles were actually up, like I believe it was 6 or 7 runs. The Yankees ended up coming. There were 7 runs. The Orioles were up. The Orioles were up like 6 or 7 runs on the Yankees, and Yankees ended up coming all the way back. Gleyber Torres, I believe, had 2 home runs in that. Gleyber Torres has like 2 home runs in that game, and this is the same way as post-game interview on Yes Network. So full credit to them. Full credit to Yes Network. This is Gleyber Torres, his post-game interview after the first game of that 4-game series against the Baltimore Orioles. Take a listen.
It's feel great. I mean, we never give up. That is the really good thing about our team. We always compete. We always fight, and I mean, we need few opportunities to do the job, and just we do.
Where does that come from? The compete, the continuing to persevere.
I mean, we are Yankees. Always we wanna. We have a history, you know what I mean? So we just try to continue. We have a goal, so we want to go to the championship, the World Series for sure, and we just prepare mentally right now and try to win and be positive. I think is the most important for us.
You circle the Orioles when you see them on the schedule. 8 home runs against them already this season.
I mean, I just try to do my job. I'm coming every game, just try to do my job, and I think I just have a lucky. Just try to hit really well, and I do.
Gleyber, what do you mean by you have a history? Just because of the Yankee thing?
Yeah, for sure. We have a 27. I mean, for sure we won the 28. And we compete every day. I mean, I think the little thing we do right now, it helps to us to go to the goal.
So that was Gleyber Torres, post game in that interview, and he said a lot of inspired things. Like it obviously was a big win for the Yankees, a huge comeback victory, and he said a lot of he said a lot of like. He just says stuff that what a leader he said some stuff that a leader of the Yankees said. He kind of said, like we're the Yankees, we never give up, and that's what they did. They came back. They never gave up. They've shown incredible amount of fight this year. He said they never give up there. The Yankees, they never give up, and he said, the Yankees, we have a history. We have 27 World Series championships, and we want to win 28. That is just like. That's great. It's just great leadership. Again, it's great leadership from Gleyber right there, and he had more interesting things to say. I believe this was I forget what game this was, but unfortunately I don't have audio of this, but I believe it was the last game of the series against on May 23rd. It was on May 23rd. Yeah, it was after the last game of the series. This was Gleyber Torres, after the game. Marley Rivera of ESPN had a score here from Gleyber after the Yankees 5-game winning streak, and here's his, and she spoke to Gleyber, and this is what he had to say, quote, "So many people call us a AAA team after all the injuries. Well, this AAA team is in first place." Bravo, Gleyber. Bravo. I mean, that's just leadership right there. That's just leadership right there. That's taking account. That's just taking accountability. That's what leader does. Leaders don't just use I. They just don't use I, but they say we. Like he said, we're the Yankees. We have 27 World Series championships. We want to win 28. Hey, and after that. as you said, a lot of people say after all the injuries, we were now a AAA team. We said, this AAA team is now in first place. It's just great swagger. It's just great personality. It's just that's the type of thing that gets your team fired up. That just makes your teammates and just your overall fans, just your fans believe in this. It makes the fans pumped up and believe that this team has a chance to do some really special thing. Chance to do some really special things, to do some really good, to do some really good things. Just make people believe in what this makes people believe in what this team is doing. Just again, Gleyber Torres, I could not be happier for him. I'm be honest right now, he's right now my favorite player of the Yankees, even ahead of Aaron Judge. I love the guy. I'm gonna be getting his jersey soon. I'm holding out right now. I'm getting Yankees jerseys until next year when the new Nike jerseys come out. So I'm gonna hold off on that. But trust me when I say, as soon as that number 25 pinstripe Gleyber Torres Nike jersey goes on sale, I'm going to be buying that as soon as I can. Because again, I'm just happy for Gleyber Torres. I'm just happy for the Yankees. I'm just proud of Gleyber Torres. The way he's performing this season. He had kind of had a rough stretch. Against the Kansas City Royals, he went over I think he didn't get hit in either 2 games in doubleheader. He only drew a walk, but he had kind of rough games, but a couple of rough games. But I'm sure he'll bounce back in a big way tonight and going forward. But I'm just proud of Gleyber Torres, man. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of the leadership role he's taking. I'm proud that. And the kid's just only 22 years old. That's he's doing all this at 22 years old. To be playing at this high of a level at 22 years old and showing this type of maturity, it just shows that the Yankees just found themselves. It's just the Yankees, just found themselves a guy who really is going to be one of the cornerstone pieces of this team for years to come. So again, I'm proud of Gleyber Torres. I'm just go Yankees, go Gleyber, go all that stuff. So we're going to wrap up the show here. We're just going to wrap up with my pick of the week. I haven't done this in a while, but my pick of the week, I am taking the New York Mets. New York Mets -1.5 over the Detroit Tigers against the spread. So Chad Wheeler's getting not tonight. New York Mets, after getting swept by the Marlins, they've been playing some really good baseball lately. I like them. Detroit's not a great team. They're at home, so I'm gonna take the Mets. 1.5 over the Detroit Tigers. So
thanks for listening to the Fire and Thunder Sports Podcast. Be sure to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe to Super Adam 66 for more of the podcast, as well as more sports and entertainment content. Also follow on Twitter and Instagram at Grassani6.